Let's start at the beginning. So, ever since I was born, I was pretty much always an active person. I was always climbing rocks, climbing trees, jumping off things, doing flips. And then when I was about 7 years old, I started doing gymnastics. And I did that for about 6.5 years, and I absolutely loved it. And then around when I was 14, 15, my dad got a new job. We had to move. It wasn't a big deal, but I had to stop doing gymnastics. I started working at a trampoline park at that age. Absolutely loved it, especially with doing a background in gymnastics. It was great. I eventually worked my way up the career ladder and became a manager at that position, where I started making YouTube videos. I uploaded the flips that I would do, progressions, tutorials, all that stuff. And I love doing that as well. And then about a year ago, I quit that job, got a different job, and started going to the gym much more seriously. Now, I had gone to the gym before, and I'd really liked it, but I didn't have the freedom until I got my license, got some more freedom, and actually wanted the desire to go to the gym and start doing this in my day-to-day life. I started watching YouTube videos, following content creators, Jeff Nippard, Jesse James West, just to name a few. And from what I've seen from them, and then throughout my own personal journey, I've learned so much about gyms, how to actually gain muscle, gain strength, and then even supplements, like what's good, what's bad. And I'm not saying I'm an expert in any way. I've taken no formal education. But from what I've seen, what I've tried, what I've done, these are the results that work for me. So the first and maybe most obvious thing in all gym culture is form. When you're working out, your form matters so much, depending on how you do a certain activity that's going to target different muscles. For example, if you do a supinated, which is with your wrist turned out, if you do a supinated curl, that's going to mainly target the long head of your bicep. But if you turn it over and do a pronated grip, it's going to target your brachioradialis and then your brachialis as well. So even though you're doing the exact same movement where you're turning your hand into you, it's going to change what muscle it works out. So that's even technique. That's not even form. But form is so key if you want to build muscle, build strength, and not injure yourself. So I found that on a chin-up, the way to build the widest back is to do not as wide of a grip as possible, but you don't want to be, straight in line. You want to be out. You'll find that when your arms are higher above you and more straight, it's going to target more of your middle back. But if your arms are out wider, it gives a better stretch to your lats, which is what's going to widen your back and give you that look. And then also on the technique side of things, what I've found works the best is to do a powerful, fast, not jerky or uncoordinated or sloppy, but you do a fast, powerful, concentric, whether it's a curl, chin up, any movement, bench press, anything, while doing a slow, also controlled eccentric. That, in my experience, has grown the best strength and the best muscle in the best amount of time. Now, if you're just looking to gain size but not as much strength, you will gain strength in this, but just it won't be nearly as much. Going slow on all of your movements will gain size more, but the strength aspect of explosive movements won't be the same as if you were doing like a fast concentric and then slower eccentric. Now, studies have shown the difference between strict reps and cheat reps, and the studies were actually surprising. Supposedly, cheat reps and strict reps roughly show the same amount of muscle growth, but the only difference is the weight had to be higher for the cheat reps to gain the same amount of muscle growth, which is why I think it's better and safer if you go with strict reps, controlled movements, and then lighter weight. A misconception that I had growing up that nobody really ever taught me, but what I believed to be true, was that working every muscle every time you work out and then just doing as many reps as you could was the answer. Turns out it is not. as you do muscle groups individually, you conserve your energy more so that you have more energy throughout the day. It's also going to target those muscles effectively more than throughout your entire body. Now, I'm not saying it won't work. You will get results, just the results may not be as fast as if you separate your workouts into different days. Now, along with that, you want to give your muscles plenty of time to rest. If you're constantly hitting them, going over and over and over, you're not giving them enough time to rest, which won't help with the cellular recovery rate, which is what actually builds your muscles, makes them stronger, and helps them to do what you want to do. If you're looking to get the most out of your workouts throughout your life, I would recommend having at least 2 rest days per week. This is going to give you time to re-energize, take on the next activity, and give your muscles some time to rest before hitting the next workout. Now, I want to re-clarify, I'm not a medical professional. I've not had any formal training. This is just my past experience, what I've learned on the internet, I guess, and my research, all of that. Cardio. That word upsets a lot of gym goers, especially ones that are trying to get bigger. From my experience, cardio has not killed my gains unless excessive amounts of it are done on top of working out. And also, I prioritize doing cardio after your workout to maximize your muscle growth. Now, if you're looking for just overall health, fitness, feeling good, moving well, that part doesn't necessarily matter as much. But if you're looking for muscle growth and strength, then doing your cardio after is going to improve that. I say that because as you do cardio, if you do it prior, it's going to tire you out before your workout. I used to think that I would do cardio, I'd just be like, oh no, it's fine, I'm not tired. But it does, I've switched it now, and it does change how I work out. I am still able to do my cardio, but my lifting is way better than what it was when I would do cardio beforehand. Cardio also does not have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be sprinting or doing all these crazy things. It can be biking, jogging, very slow movements. It could even be walking. As long as you are accelerating your heart rate above what normal resting is, that is technically considered cardio. And also, high intensity cardio does not have to be your primary focus. And when I say high intensity cardio, I mean sprinting, running, swimming if you're doing fast sprints, but just anything that's like you're pounding your heart, you're racing, you don't stop. Low intensity cardio or mid intensity cardio is more of that, like biking, swimming if you go slower. Now, if you're looking to be a more all-rounded out athlete, then you can definitely include running, or you could even do a running day per week, twice per week cardio days. I personally do cardio and abs in the same day because I want that six-pack to really show. And if I do cardio, I'm kind of burning off that fat, burning those extra calories, and then energizing my muscles as well. Now, when talking about losing weight, a lot of people can overcomplicate it. I'm talking a lot about carbs, fatty foods, which those do have their place, don't get me wrong. Eating lots of fatty foods with like trans fat, getting McDonald's every other day, or just a lot of carb intake foods, that is important in your dieting. But as long as you are on a caloric deficit, I heard Sam Sulek say this once actually. If you eat 100 cupcakes, you're gonna get fat. Obviously, that's how that works. It's calorie packed food. And if you eat a lot of that, you're gonna gain weight. But if you ate only 1 cupcake a day, and that was all you ate, you didn't eat anything else, you're gonna lose weight. Now, that is obviously not good for your health. It's gonna affect your muscle gain, all of that stuff. So protein, carbs, all that stuff is important. Nutrients, macros, all that's good. But caloric deficit, in my opinion, is the most important thing if you're trying to cut weight. Warming up, yes. So this one, I guess more recently have started to appreciate. Over the past 3 or 4 months, I started stretching every night because my goal in my, fitness journey is to be mobile, flexible, but fit at the same time. So that's why I've started stretching every night. I think it's great. It helps my body wind down before I go to bed. But also stretching before you work out is very important. I see a lot of people just go in, rip weights, and leave. So I would recommend stretching beforehand. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I would recommend whatever set you're doing, especially if you are feeling any pain, do a 10 to 15 rep set with very, very light weights to warm up, stretch those muscles so that when you use them, you can actually build muscle, get a deep stretch every single workout without having to injure yourself or feel that pain throughout the day. Personally, I've started using lighter weights for my first set when I dumbbell press because I've found there's this pain in my right shoulder that starts to fire up when I bench press or dumbbell press, whatever it is. And it irritates me throughout the day. But I warmed up beforehand and started doing it like that consistently. And now that pain has lessened and sometimes I don't even feel it anymore. Last thing I want to share with you guys is supplements. I take protein powder, creatine, and that's it. Now, if you find that energy drinks, pre-workout, those help you, they definitely do. I just want to maintain my body for the long term, and I know that elevating my heart rate and taking those certain pre-workouts, not that all pre-workouts are terrible, or taking it every so often is the worst thing for your life, but my personal opinion on those is that they do help, but for maintaining my body and maintaining it as I want it to be, I try to stay away from the more outside sources. Now, creatine is one of, if not the most studied supplement out there. It's primarily found in red meat. It's great for building muscle. It helps with brain development, brain function. It has all these benefits. Some people do overhype creatine. They make it sound too good to be true. It's not, but there is a limit of what it can do. And then for protein powder, I do protein powder, but you can also just eat. Eating protein is actually better for your overall health, but I'm a senior in high school, so I don't have, a ton of money to buy chicken, steaks, and I don't have that much time either. So I like to stick with the protein shake, but it is better to eat your protein rather than drink it. So I've switched from a lot of different protein companies. Muscle Milk Pro is flavor-wise my favorite, but they do have a little more extra ingredients that I don't love in there. I've recently switched to MyProtein. The flavor profile is okay, but the ingredients are a lot better. It's a lot less, and it's better for your overall health. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like, subscribe. I plan to be posting more gym content in the future, so join for that. I love going to the gym. I hope you guys do too. And I'll catch you in the next one. God bless.